Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, the Peace Dealer, and I come bearing great news. Um, we are not only on the eve or heel of a brand new Neptune transit in Aries, which I'm realizing might really just be Neptune's heel turn happening in front of our faces right now. But I have returned with the Triune. Okay. I think some of you watching me right now have started watching me after like 2023, 2022. For those of you who've been watching me, you will recognize these two people. But for those of you who might be watching newly or have just recently joined the channel, these two people I'm going to introduce are two beings who've been very, very powerful and instrumental in my spiritual journey. The first day I ever met them in the Leo King studio, they actually performed an exorcism on me and actually like recognized me at a core level. Which I think was just very amazing. And ever since then, you know, we've been very close. I actually got initiated into Toltec shamanism by one who you will see. And without further ado, I'd like to reintroduce you to the Triune. Okay, welcome, Ari. Welcome, Jax. Thank you for joining me once again. When was the last time we were all here on this channel? Do you guys remember?
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020, around that time.
Yeah,
Or,
around it would have been early July 2020.
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was gonna say maybe like the 1500s. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. No, yeah, you're right. Jax, around that time. Yeah, because that was during like that pandemic and everybody was like,
Yeah. There was some stuff going on that year.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
If you were-
I was partially paying attention and there was a couple things happening.
Hopefully nothing too important.
Nothing that will go down in history by any means.
That's what's up. 5-year time skip is pretty wild.
Yeah.
I think it was 5 years, but damn.
But we've kept in touch. We've been sending each other memes and stuff.
Yeah.
Ari actually became my meme plug 2020 and had my page.
Yeah. Yeah, you have very unhinged memes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
99% came from her, and I don't know what I would do without her. 'Cause my page.
I do the occasional one. Just it's the occasional, but it's a good one. Whenever it's one that I'm laughing at equally.
No,
Or he like sent me, I think last time he sent me one like which friend or don't worry, Ari, I'll definitely have your back on this one. And I was like, what? So I'm that friend,
Yeah,
okay.
the Cassandra Bowman, the bestie who would befriend or defend their bestie at all costs.
Yeah.
That one, that one kills me.
Yeah, Jax is like, I'm that friend, obviously now.
Yeah, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be like, she couldn't have done it. It's impossible. She can't be guilty.
There's no way.
There's no way.
that's a doppelganger. She wasn't even
Right.
That's exactly what it was.
looking like her. So where are you guys based at now?
Texas now.
Oh, where?
I'm a Texan, and I always have been. I've
Dallas.
never lived anywhere else. Yeah, the Dallas area.
Okay, Dallas Fort Worth. That's what's up. That's what's up. My friend lives in Dallas. I was there like I think the year after he got married, like 2020. And then
I haven't gotten married yet, so.
Well, someone just got married.
Yeah.
I wonder who.
It's Stari. For anyone who doesn't know, it's Stari. Just clarifying.
Yeah, that's what's up. Congratulations.
This is the added band to it right there.
Okay.
A little one right there.
And I missed my first chance to officiate, but
No,
There's
I
always a
know,
second
right?
chance.
Jax is like,
as in another ceremony, not like another marriage.
right. No, that's amazing.
later on,
Yeah.
we'll have Jax do that type of ceremony.
Did he take the original ring and then he welded or added the band to it, or like how does that work?
So what happened was, so this is the original, engagement ring, and then we just found this one at a local store. We were looking for something that's going to fit this, and it was like impossible to see how that was going to happen online because we don't like to shop in person. Just how we are. But it was perfect. Like the first store we went to, we walked in and it was there, and I was like, "That's it. Now we can leave." In and out.
Beautiful. And both of you are still in Wisconsin?
Yes, we're in the southeastern Wisconsin.
Southeastern.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So right next to the lake.
That's the place. That's the destination.
Right next to the lake. It's pretty nice.
God, that's
cool. To have the body of water really close by. So.
Which one of us is the safest in the case of a World War III or a country invasion? Texas. I mean, y'all got
Texas. Yes.
Because everyone assumes Texas, so no one's going to go there.
That's true.
Everyone assumes it's always going to start in Texas.
Because everybody owns a freaking weapon in Texas. No one's going to care.
Plus, as someone who's lived in Texas my whole life, I can say that we would competently defend this place because, it's just part of being from Texas. It's just something you understand.
Okay. All right.
Because I always have been, and I've never lived at another location.
Ever.
Right, not in Florida, not in.
I mean, you won't. If you go to Florida right now, you won't see me there. That's a true statement.
That's very true. Okay, that's good to know. I feel like I want to put a poll up. I just don't know what idea of a poll I could put. Oh my God, Mike. Any ideas?
A poll for what?
I don't know. I wanted to put a poll pitting us against each other.
Okay, put green, orange, and red. Don't explain what the colors mean. Just put those colors. Yeah.
Green, orange, and what?
This is the one. This is gonna crack the code.
Let's go. Okay.
You're okay. Jax's progress. What is it? Your progress moon is in what now? In
Capricorn.
Capricorn, yeah. So I was progress moon in Capricorn not that long ago. Now I'm progressing. No, wait, not Capricorn. Cancer. Now I'm progressed Virgo. So I'm just like, this dude is.
Yeah.
He's definitely doing that Capricorn.
Well, June 15th, I'm going to be a progressed Sagittarius sun. So.
Oh yeah.
So I won't be diet Sagittarius anymore.
June what?
June 15th, I'm going to be progressed Sagittarius sun.
Holy cow. Wait for that one.
So I won't be diet Sagittarius because Libra, according to you, is diet Sagittarius. Mm-hmm. And that's funny and it's kind of true.
According to who?
What?
According to who?
Me.
According to my progress chart.
Oh, according to okay, Ari, you look at Libras.
So I think Libras are diet Sagittarius. You know why?
No,
because as an example of Mr. Jack's Atlantis,
I am the full beverage. Full beverage.
He's so calm.
Who do you want a bonus card from? They want it. I'm voting. I'm
Ari, who do you want a bonus card?
I'm committing election fraud. I voted me. I get to give the bonus card. That's who they want it from.
Ari, I'm glad you're mentioning this because I've always seen Virgo as diet Scorpio, but I didn't.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Oh,
you said it in a live stream. That you did a live stream.
Tendencies, right? At least Scorpio's just like, here I am, and then Virgo's
it's a real thing.
I thought
you said it,
but like. If you say that, if you say that, all right, I'll take your authority.
Libra is cream soda, and Sagittarius is Dr. Pepper. Okay, and we know that Dr. Pepper is great, but you need cream soda every now and then. So.
But wait, also you think about how Jax acts around us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm glad that this is coming out in public. His real form.
No, I've been gaslighting everyone for like years, being like, "Oh, I'm the sane, sensible one. They're the crazy one." The reality is, I'm the worst. Yeah.
I'm like, Yeah, I was that crazy friend, but now Jack's is
crazy Stari
down from me.
Yeah.
I like how Jax is the Libra balancing the Gem and the Sag.
Yep.
That's pretty
That's
dope.
what I'm here for.
You literally see that's kind of crazy how that played out.
I'm even on, I don't know if it is this way on your guys' screens, but I'm also the bottom one holding the two of you up like
That's
that.
what I meant. That's what I meant. Like, I just didn't want to say you're on the bottom because I didn't want to sound sorry.
That sounds questionable.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Other meanings, yeah.
Yes. Had to look out for that. Oh, by the way, guys, I forgot to I don't want to distract too much, but the lady I got spiritually pregnant joined my live yesterday. She popped up again. So she was
I told you to stop spiritually inseminating people.
Apparently, I gave her 9 kids. I didn't know we have 9 kids. Yeah,
that's just a miracle. I guess that's just that's not even a bad thing. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, yesterday was pretty wild. You had to be there. It was interesting. But I mean, we finally made it to Neptune in Aries.
Yeah.
Taurus the moon is 0 degrees Taurus now. And how do I want to do this? How do we how do I get this?
You had it like on the side.
You had it.
Right.
Not
the side. No, there you go.
There we are.
Oh, there we go. Yes. So we have Neptune 0 degrees. I just wanted to show that real quick. But I guess we could recap this 2012 to 2025 Neptune Pisces because of my affected, and to see perhaps what do we feel now that it's pretty much done? You know, I think it's going to retrograde back this year. I just kind of felt right now as a joke, but could be real. If Aries is the villain, right? Like, I mean, not entirely, but do you think Neptune could be going on a heel turn? John Cena turned heel, so does that mean Neptune's going to turn heel as well?
Yeah, well, I feel like we're only really going to get a taste of the energy because of like the speed at which we're going back, but I feel like it will still be sizable enough that we get to experience all of the exciting changes that are happening because of it.
Yeah.
You know, with Neptune's energy in Aries, and you think about all of the fanatical kind of conclusions that came about with Neptune Pisces, and we think about just all of the people that were incredibly spiritually inclined all of a sudden, and they had this almost, you know, extreme energy of expression where they just have to express it. And we've seen like, you know, cults sort of rise and fall in the span of just like a few months because of the digital age and all of its change. And then you think of Neptune Aries. I think that, you know, Aries definitely isn't thought of as like a sensible one of the signs, but at the same time, they are one of the fire signs, and they will suddenly, I feel like there's a kind of a massive sorting that is happening between people embodying their own brand of spirituality versus the maybe more Neptune Capricorn era, where it's much more about, you know, kind of what has precedent, especially, you know, like patriarchal precedent over time. So It feels like, it's all going to be about the individual brand of spirituality and people's own takes on Judaism, their own takes on, you know, New Age spirituality. It's going to be all over the place in a similar way, but in kind of a more grounded, action-based way, I would say.
You'll see more of the action portion of things, especially when it comes to spirituality. Like you kind of mentioned prior that like the cultism, right? All that stuff that came in prior to this actual transit. We're looking at that through a more dynamic lens. Like we are calling people out, we are seeing it, we are taking action against it. I think that's what this Neptune Aries energy is all about, is the action portion of the talking smack, right? because Aries calls people out, but they actually do something else about it too. You know, they actually like confront people. They actually do something about it. Okay. And yeah, and it's kind of like, it's more like judge and jury, right? It's more like both of those dynamics combined. I feel like that's what we're seeing. It's actually playing out on the world stage right now with a lot of politics, but also including spiritual like leadership too, right? We're seeing people that we had some type of like following finally getting revealed like for who they really are, or like kind of like, but also being addressed. Like, you did wrong. You know, you did wrong. This is what you did. These are the actions you took against other people. This is how you hurt people. So what are we as a community going to do about it? Okay, so how do we address this? You know, so I think there's like a lot of that Aries energy, and I know a lot of Aries energy is like very dynamic and very like, sometimes it might feel chaotic, but there's an actual plan. You know, there's an actual plan behind that dynamic energy. And officially, Aries are one of the biggest, I would say, transmuters of this type of darkness into light. They're like the biggest ones I've ever met. Like all the Aries women and men that I ever had interacted with, they've always had this type of energy where truth is revealed. You know, like you can't hide from the truth with an Aries. Like they just look at you. They don't even have to question you. They just know, right? And so, and then also that energy that they bring into the environment, it's like there's no hiding from that. Yeah. So that's why I like that Aries energy. It's like there's no hiding from it, from an Aries.
I like everything you said about Aries, because Saturn's going through Aries, which I think will be a really good corrective measure. Aries is really right until they're wrong, and that has a lot to do with them being out of authenticity or integrity, trying to play more to the crowd. I mean, I think when they get too self-centered, and I mean, this is going to really represent the Aries that we have within us. So I love what you said. I think I want to also kind of address the influencer era, right? That really kicked in 2012, this cult of personality. We saw the culture and gender wars go crazy with like identity politics, you know, people on their platforms shaming men, shaming women, shaming each other. I like to reference like Fresh and Fit as a platform, not to really promote or demonize them, but to really look at what they represent, the Andrew Tates. And then even on the other end with women influencers, I think we're getting ready to see the next step towards that, where the collective have seen what they like about it, what's toxic about it. And I think a major element of this era is like, you know, technology that allows us to not be trapped behind a screen, because now we can take it with us going out, with probably when Uranus goes into Gemini. But yeah, I guess my next question to you guys is, you know, now relative to, and you both touched on this as far as the beliefs, the religious structures, the spiritual ideas, where I guess Pisces allowed us to imagine what that would look like, versus now where we're actually stepping into that. And knowing that Neptune dissolves, and we've been dissolving the separation where from ourselves with God, the need for a middleman, the need for, you know, this instruction. I can only imagine what revolutions this will spark, and how we step into, you know, this new spirituality of you, of the I am, and how much more unhinged we may be as a people with Pluto Aqua as well. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, and I would say Uranus Gemini, just our brains working better for 8 years will be good, you know? Like, I think we could use just sort of a refresh as far as Uranus is concerned, because Uranus Taurus has been pretty crazy. It's felt like it's taken a lot longer than it has in some ways, and it's been perpetual brain fog in other ways. But like if you think about just all of the hype and extreme energy from Uranus Aries and kind of how we were communicating and what was really catching then.
Right.
And then Uranus Taurus and just this really intense brain fog. It's almost like Uranus is in a domain because it's in its fallen position where the temperature is never right or the moisture content in the air is never right. It feels as though it's like this drying out energy, or it's like in the middle of a swamp or something like that. And so it feels like Uranus Gemini will just be this kind of nice touch of, formulating thoughts better and expressing ourselves in ways that make sense. And also there's a counterculture thing about Gemini almost permanently. So as sort of the collective speech gets more ridiculous, Gemini gets to sort of show up and do the opposite of that, which is to be sensible, which starts to shift things a little bit. And then of course, Uranus Cancer, and we can go back to business as usual, but I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good decade of working some things out and rehashing conversations that were never finished in the last decade. Like, I don't feel like any of our conversations since 2013 have reached any kind of conclusion, as far as societal conversations.
True that. And I really do like that. My bad. Were you going to say something, Ari? Oh, okay. Yeah, I really do appreciate the mentioning of the conversations. I think people are going to be, with X saying that you're the news now. And I think this proliferating shift of legacy media to independent platforms and these, incredible wealth transfers with countries having their own stable coin, I think is definitely, I think we were in for a good start. The Uranus and Gemini to me feels like technology where we move everything with our brains, whether like we wear some kind of whatever. And I see this shift from like, you won't need to just be behind a screen or computer. It's on your glasses. Like you can augment it. I think it's going to be a revolution where so much more people are outside, and it's like a recess. Like we're moving back now. One thing I thought that was very interesting, if we actually look, moving forward to 2039, that is actually going to be coming out of 2038. When Neptune leaves Aries. All right, by 2039, it's going to be in Taurus. And one thing that I think is very significant about this that ties in these generations is that if we catalog 2012 to 25, where we had Neptune in Pisces, that actually coincided with the Saturn returns of Pluto Scorpio. And now Neptune Aries is going to cover all the Saturn return of Pluto Sag, from Saturn Aries to Saturn Virgo. Then Saturn Virgo was when Pluto Capricorn started. So what do you guys feel about that? Because this millennial generation has shown that they're all a bunch of fucking crash outs and they're ready to burn down this world.
Yeah.
Even with
one of the perfect examples of the millennial in power is JD Vance. He is 1984 Leo. He's a Leo too. So it's just like, look at what he done. I was kind of like, I thought that was good entertainment in my opinion. But also we got to know how to engage people of a different generation than we are. I think that's what we are finding that we need more of, that because we do think that we know more than everybody else, right? We do have that Pluto, generation feels like we are the smartest person in the room all the time.
I feel like we experienced that with Gen X and the one before then too, though, in a way where
and that was a great example of what happened, as different generations converged to have a discussion about really just life-changing things, right? And it's like our representative of our generation was just like, whoa. And I was like, oh shit.
I think AOC is also Pluto Scorpio.
She's another one, yes. Yeah. She's another example. Yeah, for sure.
And I like that you mentioned millennials in power, because that Pluto Capricorn cycle brought Gen X from 2008 to 2025 or 2024. That was so crazy. He's like, you supposed to say thank you to Gemini. You talking shit, Aquarius? Like, that was hilarious. But because Leo and Aquarius are ops, but like, yeah, it's interesting because now that Pluto's in Aquarius, all the Pluto Scorpios, we're having to do what Pluto Libra did. And there's Pluto Libra before 2008 that looked so hopeful and full of life. And then there's Pluto Libra after 2024. Like, look at Kanye West. You know what I mean? Like, they look like they've gained success, but at what cost? Like, it took everything from them. They look fed up with everything, disillusioned. And I'm glad to know that we're next. And considering they experimented on us, I feel like Pluto Scorpio, I know this is biased, I feel like we were really experimented on. I feel like I don't know if we were treated like
we were
You sound so excited about it.
I think
we were experienced.
I would say the end of Libra, Pluto Libra, into us, we were definitely a huge social experiment, specifically because we were around when the internet started, right? And we were young enough to, we're coding it on MySpace.
Yeah.
We were coding. We were putting codes in there.
And we were good at it too.
I know. And then we had a background all of a sudden, and you're just like, how the f do you do
I
that?
missed that. I wish they would just bring that back.
Is it a bias to say we're where humanity peaked, coming through the 90s?
It would only be biased if it wasn't true. It was busy being true, and we pretty much won. We won too much.
But then they want to blame everything on us for being in.
Yeah, it's just crazy at this point.
They make no sense. But yeah, so we kind of got an idea of, as millennials, like how fucked we are. How we're gonna really move forward and change the world for the better. But what's up with Gen Z? Luigi Mangione is out here popping CEOs, and he represents what all of Gen Z is ready to do. Personally.
Well, look at how they praise him, and I'm just like, okay, I understand the whole eat the rich mentality, right? I get it, because one, especially healthcare, I've been in healthcare for a while, and it's just like, yeah, that's not a go, right? Like, I've experienced my own patients stress over not getting covered fully for their treatment. I've experienced, people who need the treatment, have to like quit the program abruptly because United and other healthcare won't cover their costs of like staying somewhere, like residential treatment, which they clearly need to feel safe as well as stable, and also medications that they clearly need, right? Outside of substance use, more like, treatment for cancer, treatment for things like that haven't been covered. I understand the frustration that comes from it, but it's not just insurance companies, it is the healthcare overall that is the problem here in the United States. Overall healthcare is the problem. And so I think the reaction that Gen Z is having for Mangione, for example, is a cry for revolution, of course, but also a cry for change, because they feel powerless to do anything at this time, because they don't have authority or power or any way to do it. They don't have that. And they're so thirsty for it, because that's, they want it, and so it's like, well, I'm sorry, you got to wait your turn. We waited our turn too, it's just like, got to do something about it. But it
they don't want to wait though.
No, they don't. No.
It's crazy. Oh my God. And by the way, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think it's important to know, Ari, for those who aren't aware, what is it that you study? Because you recently graduated a program right now, and you work with children right now.
Oh, well, I was a teacher. I did work with special education for a few years, and then I moved into therapy full time for substance use. So I work with adults only, but unfortunately, because of the, I would say, the co-current diseases such as mental health disorders as well as trauma, and then also, substances that come into play. A lot of these adults unfortunately can't adult, unfortunately, because of the substance use, because that's been detrimental to their health, it's been detrimental to their growth, their spirituality. It's just severely infantilized them, and so they just come to us like wholly broken and needing some resources and help to get their life back together, and it's very sad to see it that they've hit rock bottom pretty much by the time that they get to us, and there's no other ways that they can get out of their situations or things like that. It's very, very sad, but also we have to understand their background, their environment, what is causing them to seek the self-medication, that's what I call it,
right.
And what continues to perpetuate that cycle of trauma in their life, and stuff like that. And so when we see that, and then a layer of the healthcare system not having their back, like not being covered for certain things, that just they don't need all that, right? They need the help. They need to know how to cope with life on life's terms. They need to know how to self-regulate with emotions, because again, they weren't taught that when they were young, and that's why they're seeking avenues of exits, right? Exit avenue, and so it's very, very hard for an adult that's late 60s to come seek help from somebody who's like in their 40s, you know what I mean? And so it's like they definitely have had that ego death. I always see it that way, that they've had their ego death and they're coming, seeking refuge, seeking to build themselves up again, and so it's very powerful at the same time, and it's very heartbreaking at the same time, and so that's the last thing that they need, is to worry about who's covering what, with the insurances and stuff like that. So that's why I'm like, we need to do something about healthcare.
And what did you graduate with?
Oh, I have a master's in clinical mental health counseling, and I'm working on my doctorate right now in clinical psychology, which I'm gonna go into psychopharmacology as an offshoot, just to try to understand how to work with pharmaceuticals, but in the way that they're supposed to be worked with, not in the way that we like. Unfortunately, pharmaceuticals are a test, trial and error, that's the experiment until we find the right one for the person, because again, they're not catered to the person, they're catered generically, just everyone gets the same dose, everyone starts at the same dose and see what happens. That's very bad in my opinion. And so there are a lot of experiments with psychopharmacology where we're implementing natural ways to do this, where we're looking at natural remedies, where we're looking at things that have been passed down for generations that we know work, but also trying to get like lobbying for that to happen. And it's so hard. I think the only ones that are open to that is like definitely Colorado and California, but out here it's just really hard for us to get a foot in for that type of work or whatever, and so but I'm still gonna do it regardless of how hard it goes. So yeah.
Someone had asked a very interesting question, because I think what's very, unique, and don't worry, we've removed this distraction from the chat. But yeah, one thing that's very interesting, I think, is, we are at that turn of the age where all the older people are going to be dying, like all the people from the older generations, which I think puts us in a unique position. What Pluto Scorpio really means, before Pluto Sag creates a new world, we're going to be filtering a lot around what we pass on to the new generation. I think our generation is going to be responsible for 99% of old ideas not making it through us. We're not going to really continue on that tradition. I can't see the new generation really copying what the older one did, like the older generation did, like the Pluto Leos, kind of carrying that forward. So I definitely like both of your thoughts on what that's going to look like as we kind of, I'm sure some people will carry on certain tradition. And the next, and in attachment to that question, someone asked something very amazing. How do you see Neptune and Aries affecting addiction? Because coming out of Neptune, Pisces, Neptune, which has a lot to do with alcoholism, we've seen crazy fentanyl addictions, opioid addictions. And I mean, are they going to get better? Are they going to get worse? Both? What do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like there is already a shift in that perspective, because like last week, I think I was complaining to you, Mike, about like how horrible and hard that was. Last week was like I worked the whole year last week in 1 week. Like I felt like, what the hell is going on? But I felt it was a good thing at the same time, because obviously the people that were coming in were really like, I'm going to address this now. And they wanted to address their trauma right away. They wanted to work through, toxic relationships that they have at home. They wanted to even bring in their family members to like, just be like, let's put it all out on the line and let's solve these problems. So there was a lot of like a huge push towards action last week. And I was just like trying to like be like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. I know that you want to get these things solved, but we got to make sure that you are prepared for the feelings that come and how to manage those, and also prepared for, a loved one saying no to you, or a loved one pushing back, or things like that, just different scenarios. And so there was a lot of just let's go type of energy with of patients, especially new patients that have never been in treatment before and are just like ready to like just balls to the wall. Let's go. I want to get this over with. I want to heal myself. I want to experience life to the fullest. Right. And there was also a sense of urgency to like, there is people that were talking about how, I'm this odd years old and I feel like life has just passed me by, and all that feeling of regret and just, things that they've done or things that they've experienced. They wanted to just get it done like last week. And I was like, whoa, all right. like, we'll see, like we'll hook you up with a trauma therapist. We'll like, do all this for the support. Right. And so, yeah, it was a lot of that. So I feel that's what it is going to be like with addiction, where we're going to have more people wanting to solve this right head on, and there's going to be more of like a push to have those resources for them. And I noticed Colby, he said something about like, let me go get back to my addiction and you experiment on me. I was like, no. Like, oh my God, no. You are good to go, my friend. You got this. You've done it. You've been there. You've done it. You don't have to re-experience it again. You've grown from it. You've evolved. You are here to lead. Obviously, you're leading a lot of people down the astrology route, and you're doing it like amazingly. I don't know if you guys know Colby, but highly recommend that you do. But I feel like that is the push. They want to go because they want to have their life back. They want to build a future. They want to have all the things, all the good things, right? And so I think that's what it is.
No, that's beautiful. And I think it's interesting to see Pluto Capricorn and Pluto Sag. I think because the Pluto is now at a higher age development range until Pisces, maybe we see this nature of kids growing up very fast. Pluto Capricorns are wanting, even my mom is a pediatrician. She's mentioning those of her patients are having like worries that 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds have, like trying to be super successful. When she reads the questionnaires, like she notices these group of kids are like, oh, I need to be successful. I need money and all that. And I even Double Shot said that's how she feels at 23. You know what I mean? So what do you feel about and I think we kind of mentioned this earlier, but just that role that this new gen is going to really play into kind of changing everything, you know, like the last time Pluto was in Aqua and all that. Who knows?
Yeah, well, last time Pluto was in Aqua, we definitely made some pretty big differences worldwide. You know, a lot of people were, and a lot of information gets brought into single categories. And one of the things that I think we're having trouble with right now is categorization. We're kind of lumping way too much into single categories, which is getting in the way of us actually understanding each other or understanding even what our own point is. And I feel like with Neptune Aries, in a lot of ways, it's about getting back to basics and starting over again, starting simply. You know, we're starting the Zodiac over, but we're also kind of starting our thoughts over again.
Especially with the nodes that left Aries. I really like that. Yeah. Like a major reset, reboot. And that brings us back to like 2016, 2015, the last 10 years. So yeah, it's really good to be in this position. I'm definitely very excited. Saturn coming through, I do see as like the new world order, you know, but with Neptune this time versus the 90s, the 60s, and then like the 20s before that, to have Saturn and Neptune should be interesting. I don't know why. I think the face of this year is GTA 6, just what that represents as far as like gaming, innovation, technology, even the lead. Like they're pushing a woman to lead the game, which I think is a very interesting twist. And
I might be out of the loop. What's going on with GTA 6? What's
Grand Theft Auto 6? I haven't really played Grand Theft Auto, but just given the hype around it, right? I feel like that's one of the releases this year that represents how we're going to really shift into this next generation.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so this is a big important game then. This is.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, he's a Libra. He doesn't game that much. Okay?
I'm gonna force myself to get back into gaming.
Wow, it's that astrologically important. We have to play GTA 6.
I mean, well, no. I mean, I probably won't play GTA. I'm gonna actually watch people on YouTube play the game because that's my new thing.
And then we have to go out and get.
You would watch people on YouTube.
Yeah. They have funny commentaries. They do.
Yeah, I know, because every single, I swear to God, every single air sign that I live with, as well as that I'm friends with, they love to watch them gamers on YouTube. Like there's this one gamer that we always watch called Queso. He's hilarious.
Oh, he is funny.
He is funny. And then also, what's the other guy that they watch again? Schlatt. That's another guy that's just like I think he's a Virgo. Okay. So it's like he says some like he's it's not him, it's his followers that say some off the wall stuff all the time, and it's hilarious to see.
But like in a game like GTA, right? there are people who are making like $50,000 a month on GTA 5 lobbies, and GTA 6 is going to be the type of game where like people who don't even play video games might get it because you can make money in their metaverse. It's like the whole, right? Like we're entering that age where some people, their whole living could be made off of vending products in metaverse lobbies and video games. You know what I mean? So
it's wild.
It is. It's very well, like we're stepping into it this year. So that'll be very interesting. What do you guys think about celebrity culture moving forward? I think everyone is so disillusioned and everyone wants to cancel everybody. So I think it's like a whole new, I guess the way we do it will never be the same. But
well, it's kind of interesting because it's actually new to my knowledge. Like I can't think of any other time where, because it's a lot like liquid dilution. It's like what used to be a celebrity has pretty much always been the same. And now all of a sudden, Kathy, who has like a really funny chipmunk outside of her house that she films like on TikTok, she becomes a celebrity and is asked to, for like her political opinions and stuff like that. All she did was have a chipmunk. But she technically counts as a celebrity because of the view ratio. And so it's almost like there's this massive series of popularity elections that's happening all simultaneously between all like sort of groups of people and all, just all types of people from everywhere. So it's weird. Yeah, it's weird what's happening with celebrities. And as far as the people being revealed and exposed, it's like, it's about time.
And I do like that theme because that's really that's kind of what I see happening. And the whole notion of like the plumber down the street, the desk clerk or just the average everyday person are everywhere, entering an age where everyone may be a celebrity, and it doesn't matter what you do. It could be like, okay, you could have made an obscure job famous because you're famous and people like your personality, right? And it's kind of bringing resurgences of that, which I think would be very interesting when we see done right. I think we've seen examples of this done wrong, and it'd be interesting to see if now there's more of a resurgence of random people getting famous but actually doing something like amazing with it. Not to say that there haven't been examples, but yeah, who knows.
Well, it's also an understanding that why are we still doing this as a culture, right? Where is this coming from? And understanding, like, psychologically speaking, why do we care? Like, why do we even care about these people's lives and stuff like that? Yeah, it's good to watch people, to learn from them and stuff. That's a good thing, but it gets kind of muggy when we start to put them on a pedestal, or we start to fight other people online to defend them, right? It's like, you don't know this person in real life. Why are you defending them online? That's where it gets kind of like, why do we care that much as a society? And so I think it's important for us to eventually, I think that's where we're headed. It's like, why is it that we're seeding this division still, or who is at the forefront of it, right? And that's where we're going to start to see the truth. And we're already doing that. Like, as a spiritual community, we're already doing that. It just has to catch up. They're just playing catch up right now. Like, the people who are in the media, the people who are feeding us this daily thing, like, that we should care, right? And that's what it is. It's a program. It's a reiterance of what they're selling to us. That's what it is. They're selling a product to us. They're selling a celebrity to us. They're selling clothes to us. They're selling a color, a political ideology. That's what it is. And when are we going to stop buying the product? I think that's where we have to really confront ourselves on that aspect of things.
I think you confirmed something amazing, where that kind of leads into this revolution of independence, where now people stand behind more authentic brands and kind of overcome the monopolies and trust that have been set up, which I think is glorious. But yeah, I guess we can get into the tarot reading, and we could throw down some cards.
One update first.
Yes.
I found out that there is no account named Kathy that has a chipmunk, but there is someone named Adam who has a chipmunk. So just throwing out a
Adam and Adam and the Chipmunks. Is that? No, it was Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, this guy's just Adam. He's not even mentioning the chipmunk, but it's present in the video. So
all right, that's what's
Look at Colby's. Colby's.
He kind of looks like Colby, actually, so that's interesting. Yeah.
Word.
Community note. That's what that was. That's the word I was looking for. It's a community note.
All right. Well, yeah. What do we want to pull cards around first? I guess we could pull a card about. Well, we'll eventually. We can actually go down the zodiac signs, but before we do that, I guess we could pull a card for this new Neptune Aries transit. What What do we pick up on that?
I'm down to do that. It looks like I won the bonus card poll, assuming it's done.
Oh no, I'm gonna end it at the end of the live.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
but if it was called right now, I won. So just throwing that out there for history's sake.
Sometime we'll see. It fluctuates.
I got the tower. Yikes.
Mars. Oh shit.
Game over.
He said,
yeah.
All right. Let's see. I got the Hierophant. Play devotion to service. I like that. Okay. What do you feel with the tower?
Well, the tower, I mean, is the simplest part of it, is just destruction. Destruction is a big part of the rebuild process. It's the beginning of all new beginnings, is first destruction of what came before. So to me, there's definitely, and it sounds like it's like a very dark premonition for Neptune Aries, but to me, this is incredibly necessary. There's just a lot of destruction that needs to happen so that something new can be built over the foundation. But I would also say that it's, part of the magic that Aries has, because Neptune sort of unveils the magic of whatever sign it's in. Part of the magic Aries has is making things happen. And so to me, there's a very literal, it's a very literal side of manifestation, not like with Taurus where it produces the result, but like Aries where it forces certain situations into happening in the first place. Yeah. So yeah, to me, very destructive, but a very necessary, useful destruction. Demolition. It's like demolition.
And I think I know what it is that's being destroyed. The status quo with the Hierophant, because the Hierophant represents tradition, the status quo. I think it represents that whole idea of this is what we just do in society. This is why we do this tradition. And I think that's what the Tower card we're going to see crumble. And now I think that leads to your card, Ari, because I guess in its replacement, we have Devotion to Service.
Right. So when you look at the Pleiadian energy, they're coming from the constellation of Taurus. Let's just put that out there. So with the Pleiadian, it's about building from the bottom up, building from a solid foundation, but also understanding that beyond being of service to others, you have to be of service to yourself. Okay. And it's kind of going back to self-care. How can you pour from an empty cup, all that stuff. And then also like devotion means like actually getting into a routine for that to happen, getting into a self-care routine, taking care of you first, taking care of your household first, and then being able to devote time and effort to society or however that's going to look like for you in the future.
Love that. All right. Well, next, let's pull 4 cards. Let's pull one for each season, just to give an idea of this year. And then, we can kind of share what we got. And then after that, and Forest Fairy Tarot, we were talking about how you gifted me those Galactic Heritage cards. And the first time I saw that deck was with Ari, the main character energy activation. I like that. And then after this, if no one else has any ideas for card pulls, we could just go down the Zodiac signs for everyone watching.
I've got a wild 4 seasons ahead.
Uh-oh.
You want me to do mine first?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so we start off with something pretty believable, right? We start off with 4 of Cups. I can believe that. Yeah, I need to be more grateful for the stuff that's around me. Okay. There's going to be a lot of temptation this spring. Temptation is a big part of this. Gratitude is a massive part of this. Questioning where we're getting information from is a big part of this. And I would say above all else, to at the same time be willing to investigate. So for some reason this spring is all about temptation, willingness to investigate, sort of focusing on who's giving you certain information, and to not, shut out our emotions, but definitely not to get lost in them of all times right now. But then we get into the non-believable summer, fall, and winter. So for summer, we have the Fool. So we have the zero energy. It's in between beginnings and endings. This summer is, to me, very much sort of illustrated with Uranus Libra. So there's definitely an energy of the parts of you that are awakened with other people. So, finding a lot of connections, being incredibly open-minded to the journey and where it's taking. At the same time, it then moves into fall, which we have Magician. So this, for any of you that don't practice tarot, so you have the Fool at 0, and then you have the Magician at 1, and the Magician starts the tarot. So that means that there are going to be a lot of, between the summer and fall portions, right around Virgo season, you're going to feel very forced into a certain situation, or that the timeline of the situation is kind of forcing your hand in some way. So anything that you're flirting with in summer, any ideas that you're starting to work with, by fall, you'll be asked to turn that into some type of commitment. But if you do that and you sort of follow that, then in the fall, it sort of shows you unlocking your true potential, unlocking the ultimate magic of the Magician is potential itself. It's this like commentary on how when we're young, we could be a billion different things. When we're a little bit older, we could be a million different. And then, it sort of gradually decreases the amount of options from there. But the Magician is suggesting that our true us will be, awakened as long as we're practicing whatever this is that we were really compelled by before. But then we get into winter, where we have the Empress, and there's kind of this commentary on, of course, the underworld journey, and the idea that, winter is this time without the sun. To me, it suggests a very abundant winter, in that this is going to be, essentially, there's going to be a lot coming to us. There's going to be a lot that's sort of flowing inwards if we, in the fall, actually managed our potential and pointed it at something. If we do that, we're going to have it's going to be like too good of a winter. There'll be like too much flowing in, because, to go from these two, basically the skipped step was the High Priestess, between the 1 and 3. High Priestess is kind of this initiation journey of Pisces, and it's literally what this last, 12 years has been. So it almost feels like we're intentionally missing a step from that storyline. And, just basically it's like there's some things we've already done. There's some journeys we've already completed. So, yeah, it's going to be a wild next few seasons.
I really like that, because what you said about fall, about like making those plans real, is this Virgo eclipse in the fall. Yeah. And then by the time we're in the winter, the sun is going to be opposite Jupiter in Cancer, which would suggest a harvest. So yeah, I am looking forward to that for sure. I think that's
going to be intense.
Absolutely.
My reading is kind of similar.
All right.
That's kind of interesting. So the first one for the spring is the Desperation card, coming from Zeta Reticuli, and this is from the Reticulum galaxy. I'm sorry, the Reticulum constellation. Zeta Reticuli binary star system. So watch out for double energy here. So that desperation is in the past. So we got to actually focus on that. Like, what is it that we are bringing from the past into the present moment, and how can we restructure our mindset, or even prepare ourselves to let that stuff go. The desperation is coming from a sense of not having what you want, or possibly being in a situation that you want to get out of, right? Where you want to find safety, where you want to find comfort, where you want to find who you are again, right? And so I think that's pretty like cool with the tower, being that Jax pulled the tower. I was like, oh, that's where we're coming from. Like, that leap of faith is important too, so going into that, the leap of faith in the summer will be the cosmic midwifery, is like creation energy. 0 representing the Fool, creation energy from Octarus, the feminine parallel. That's representing femininity, and femininity energy coming from the void energy. That's where everything comes from, creating from the void, creating from nothing, okay, into something. Cosmic midwifery represents birthing it in, okay? Like, how do we address the things that we want, and how do we manifest them? What can we do in order for us to get there? And then you mentioned the fool. The fool has that enthusiasm, like blind faith. So that's what this represents too. It's like having your faith in yourself and realizing that you do have the power to create your life as you want. You know, you do have that authority. You are God within God, right? Then looking at the fall, survival fears are coming back in, you know, like kind of like trying to address what is blocking or what you think is the perception of blocking something, right? And then again, we're doing Zeta Reticulum again, the past, again in the past. What is it about the past that is still lingering? Why can't we get rid of that? Why can't we heal from it? You know, kind of like a deeper soul exploration. So Virgo season is all about that. It's all about deep healing and understanding and addressing things that need to be done before you reap what you sow, right? And then also looking at protectiveness for the winter. This is coming from Lyra, and this is at the present moment. So being at the present with yourself, protecting your assets, protecting yourself, protecting your family, protecting the things that are important to you. How do we do this without restriction, right? Without restricting our creativity, without stopping and blocking ourselves from manifesting, right? And so I think that's where we are going to slow things down and also readdress the things that are not supposed to be in our life during that time, right? So wintertime is usually about rest and rejuvenation as well, about death, you know, because we're going into a death cycle. So it's about addressing the shadows, about addressing the inner self at a deeper level, and also at the same time giving yourself a break, you know. Like, you are protecting yourself, but you also need to give yourself a little bit of a break during that time to incorporate what you've learned in the past, you know, seasons and stuff, you know. So that's it.
Beautiful. I haven't looked at these cards yet, so I'd love to see how they align with what you guys have. The underlying theme I have for the year is the King of Cups. Oh, I was not expecting that. So looks like a chill, peaceful, seemingly boring year, but I think it kind of gives that Four of Cups vibes. It's just, you know, gaining a lot of emotional intelligence. I kind of wanted bonus cards. We do have a Six of Cups and a Four of Wands, so that's kind of cool too. I think it's going to strengthen community. It's definitely going to bring, you know, more kindred connections together. But that King of Cups, I think, is a call to really level up or step into your deepest wisdom. And I see a lot of people not falling for obvious bait and traps and, you know, just devolving themselves into whatnot, but instead you playing chess while people are playing checkers, like already being steps ahead and just maintaining that, you know, integrity of feeling. So for spring, we do have the King of Swords. Okay, was nice. That. So the King of Swords is the subjectivity. It's he just looks very disinterested, just, you know, just chilling at the top. I think that a lot of you who are working in your fields, you're going to really maintain this expert status. It's definitely encouraging impartiality, gaining and giving really top level advice. Definitely King Solomon that was, you know, deciding and judging between those two ladies. But yeah, I think this can help with decisive victory, and it'll definitely, especially with the King of Cups, have you operate on this highest level, on this very powerful level. Now, when we get to summer, we do have the Ace of Wands. Holy crap. Okay. So this is definitely spark. This, of course, is the Jupiter, Sun, Cancer, square Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. And I think we have a lot to look forward to with brand new opportunities, brand new passion, brand new moving forward. A lot of new sexual energy too. A lot of new themes. A lot of new cycles being stepped through. I think we're going to get ready to accept new excitement with things we've never really expected to see that will really kind of push us forward together. And then for the fall, we do have the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles, you know, I think really mixes with what you guys got with fall as well. This teamwork situation. I think by the time, you know, spring has had us operate at that top efficiency, we're activating in summer. So this is going to have us connect with all the people who aren't on BS and are actually doing something, who we can actually, you know, push forward more traction. This is really good with transactions, connecting skills. It's also a secret society card too, you know, kind of working in secret on certain trades and crafts. So I think that's pretty dope. This is Mars in Capricorn. I think Mars might be in Capricorn during this period. And then, of course, we have the winter, which is the King of Pentacles, which is so very interesting, this presence of kings. So yeah, just like the Empress here, right? Just like what Ari and Jax pulled, this looked like a lot of wealth. I like that segue from the King of Swords to the King of Pentacles, ending the year off much more wealthy, much more, at least, you know what I mean? Like in control and mastering one's financial situation, copping property, land, you know, all due to really good teamwork and management. So we got the King of Swords, we got the King of Cups, we got the King of Pentacles. You know, I thought that was very interesting. Damn, almost every king, right? And yeah, teamwork does make the dream work. So yeah, that much more hopeful for the year ahead. 2025.
Yeah, Three of Coins is one of the best omens ever, especially having King of Coins directly after.
No, yeah. Absolutely. It brings me back to this abundant winter that you had mentioned, which I think is I'm looking forward to that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Maybe this nature of Christmas might be a whole new precedent. Unlike, we're still going to hear the Mariah Carey song for sure.
Oh, I don't sit well with that one. I should theoretically, but I can't take that song.
Could you imagine? That'll be a tower card.
Yeah, that would be my tower card.
Yeah. It's okay to be jealous of an Aries queen.
It's not jealousy. I would never be jealous.
Is because she your op, Jack?
Well, you know what? Our poll is tied at 50-50. If everyone who wants a bonus card from me, who is not on Team Mariah, then you can vote. You can vote a second time.
Here's what we'll do. We'll go down the 12 signs, and after we do Pisces, I'll end the poll. And in the meantime, guys, click the description box below. Any of you guys who would like a live reading from us, if you get the tarot card, all of us will pull a card for you. And then if you want some astro insight, Jackson and I can, look at your chart. Just make sure you email me your chart so that we can run through this pretty smoothly. But yeah, first we're going to start with Aries. What we got for you, Aries? Team Mariah.
No, I'm not. Oh, God.
This
can't win Ari the votes. That would be so awful to win the election. It was an offhanded comment.
That's how it happens.
You'll never win against an Aries. I'm just telling you right now. Don't even try.
Actually, I was specifically made by the Zodiac to win against Aries. Thank you very much. I was designed by God to do just that. But
oh my God, no.
We put together this system called the justice system. It was pretty cool and kind of, kept the Aries in line last I checked. But
oh my God, the court itself. Actually, Jax, what do you feel about Saturn and Aries and how that's coming for you? Like it came.
They deserve it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm excited about it. I'm excited. Not because they deserve it. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for
it. What about you? Because it went in Aquarius and Leo got locked up. It went in Virgo now. So are you worried? Are you excited?
No, I see this working out great because to me, it's almost like the trope of it's like there's the person who gets away with something and they get arrested for something they didn't do. And so it's like the scales are balanced versus the person who gets out even though they did do something and maybe they didn't do something that was as bad. And so it's almost like actual justice making its way, but in actuality, it's not working at all. Oh. So to me, it's like Saturn will be a very tired warden and he won't really be checking on things properly. But when he does, it's almost like it works out in the right time. Okay. So yeah, things definitely feel flipped, but it still feels like they're going to work out as far as the result in the right way. You know?
Okay. The process might be wonky, but we'll at the end of the day get to the right.
Yeah, that's what it feels like because Saturn isn't really doing too well in there. But at the same time, when the conditions are bad and when it feels like, the ground is very sandpapery and the sun's a little bit too hot and all of that's happening, you kind of learn to work with it. And then when things return to normal, you're more able to do a lot more. So yeah, it feels like a good thing overall to me.
Look at Kobe.
Saturn is the guard that fell asleep watching Epstein. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, that's
One way to put it.
That's yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess we could pull this card for if this is your sun, moon, or rising, what the year will be for you, and this week, or just the general influence. It's really whatever.
For Aries, we're starting with Aries.
We're starting with Aries. Yeah.
I got
just one card.
Yeah, we could just do one card.
So I got spiritual technology from Vega. So this is actually a star within the Lyra constellation. Spiritual technology is kind of like bringing back what it is that makes you unique and how you can bring it into fruition, kind of like what is it that you want to do? What type of changes do you want to see in the world? And how is that going to apply to your growth spiritually, as well as how are you helping other people spiritually, right? Another thing with spiritual technology is like music, tone, sounds, things like that. How do we address the stuff that is being infiltrated into our music at this time? And how is that actually impacting us at a physical level, at a subatomical level? Okay. And I think for Aries, these are the people who are going to address this. If you haven't met an Aries, they like to move. They like to dance, they like to sing, they like to be out there, like kind of making people feel good and feel better about themselves too. So I would say an Aries, sun, moon, or rising might be inclined to the music industry. They might want to work in collaboration with artists, or they might even want to create their own, music and tones that are going to be spiritually enlightening as well as healing for many people. Or they could even create a modality of physical transformation. For example, there's a lot of Aries who like to go out and work out and feel good and be fit. And I think that's another thing that we are seeing with Aries is like, let's take some action on, like, we don't like how we're feeling. We're feeling sluggish. We have less energy. Let's go and work out. Let's do something that's actually going to be beneficial for the body, mind, and spirit, right? Or even with cooking. I know a lot of Aries are excellent cooks and chefs, and that's some type of like incorporating type of spirituality to cooking, right? Like praying over your food, addressing the spirits of the plants and the animals that we ingest, things like that. Any type of unique twist to the things that we already have in this, in this reality. I would say that's what spiritual technology would be, a revolution of like how to manufacture things that are much more beneficial for humanity.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's me? Okay. 6 of coins. I've got 6 of coins. Aries, you are about to have something flow into your life, and you are going to be called to help someone out with it. However, there's definitely going to be at least one situation where you needed help and someone didn't help you. And I think you're going to be weighing that out quite a bit. because you get this abundance that comes in all of a sudden, and at the same time you kind of have this grudge against someone. So to me, there's this energy of overcoming that and doing what is right in that situation. For some situations it might actually be to revoke your help, but for another situation it might be to help someone out. And Six of Coins also really balances things as far as what's happening with you in general, in the sense that Six of Coins will show other areas of your life which haven't allowed other types of abundances because they've been, essentially out of whack, or they've been kind of on the wrong rhythm.
Beautiful. Okay, so for Aries, the underlying theme we have is the Hierophant, which I think kind of revisits, I think either you creating bohemian structures and rebelling against status quo, or just doing everything by the book according to what is authentic to you. But the main card we have here is a Two of Swords. So it's not necessarily allowing yourself to make emotionally ruled decisions that don't really account for any logical thinking, acting too impulsively. This is Moon in Libra. So I kind of see this as like keeping certain things on the hush. I think a lot of Aries are going to be making more moves and announcements for sure this year as well, and backing it all on established values that you may even be pioneering. So very beautiful. Brandon, we got your PayPal, so you will be the very first that we read. And next we got Taurus. Jax, you can lead us on this one.
So I kid you not, I just drew a card immediately and instinctively. It's the Hierophant again, so that's pretty trippy. I was gonna say for Taurus, just right off the bat, Taurus, you've got some really good stuff coming, specifically though in the form of just some relief. I feel like even Uranus just moving slightly to Gemini, even just a touch of that, is going to give you a preview of the amount of weight that is actually off your shoulders all of a sudden, because it always feels like Taurus has been working, whether literally or metaphorically. It's almost like you've all been working 2 or 3 jobs in the last 10 years. And it feels like there's this sudden alleviation that happens where you no longer feel like you're shouldering so much. And it feels like you're actually able to kind of live off of some of what you've earned and created. But also with the Hierophant in particular, this energy is about what part of what you did was a burden and what part of it was like a sacred spiritual responsibility, because kind of the idea of the Hierophant, of this leader of the flock who shepherds their congregation, is they look out for people, they look out for groups of people, and they have one in particular that they cherish and stand for and protect and defend. And specifically, they nourish them with living water, with the spiritual foods. And so I feel like there's some things which are going to be continuing in this new pace of needing to help so many others out. But I would say that some of it that isn't yours is going to be relieved, and some of it that you still do is going to be more of like a spiritual responsibility that you've taken on, and that you've decided is what you are called to do, or that it's one of the reasons that you're here.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, kind of similar. Alienness, and this is non-humanoid. So this is parallel energy. So it's kind of like what's happening in the present moment. Different aspects of the self, right? So for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and I would say even Venus, I would say that this is an exploration of the spirit realm a little bit more in depth, like beyond like the restrictions of religious, I would say even like doctrine. The need for addressing the spirit is huge because you're very grounded in humanism, right? Like humanity, that's your thing. that's where you thrive. But understanding the concept of abstract thinking and how do you address the need to fill the void beyond what you're doing at a day, like accomplishments with your goals or even money, things like that. It's beyond that. Okay, it's beyond your existence here. So I would definitely recommend exploring past lifetimes, exploring different dimensions, exploring your guides, like who are your guides? Who is guiding you right now? Who is looking out for you? Do you have, like ancestral guides that come up? Have you had dreams of these people or these beings? Have you explored that side of you yet? And I think it's more of a deeper understanding of who you are as a spirit beyond the human shell. So that's what I'm seeing for Taurus.
Beautiful. What I got for Taurus is the Eight of Pentacles. So
Nice.
I love how Jax had mentioned some of y'all, have many jobs, or really, I think this is going to have you hone in on what work has always been meaningful to you and how you continue to keep the quality of that meaningful work. This is Sun in Virgo. So I think that's really reassuring. You're going to really be working something stable and meaningful to you. You're going to keep on keeping that quality. Why would you pull that? I love that you're saying, we are trying to work, but look at the smile. You're going to be feeling accomplished. It's like,
look at his hair.
yeah, right.
For a second.
Yeah, it's like the work you're doing though. It's not tiring. And I think that's going to be a major, you could buckle down on really just working one work that may not even feel like a job for you. It's just very fulfilling, right? So you're going to maintain this value. And I think it's going to really give you a lot more to show for it as far as good work done and, just doing the Lord's work, doing that great work, keeping consistent. You know what I mean? Which is beautiful. All right, Gemini, let's go. Let's see what we got. I guess I could start with this one. The card we have for you, Gemini. Be spare us, be kind. All right. Oh, we got the moon. More delusion.
I got the star.
Oh, I thought I got the creative communication. Nice. At first, I thought I got the star. I was like, oh, it's the moon, more delusion. All right. So this is beautiful. The moon, I kind of see as kind of represented, kind of like, I'm going to use Ye as an example because Ye is a lunatic right now. He's on the moon in a sense where like he's doing his own thing. He's not really drawn into certain structure, release schedules. I think regardless, and let me not use him as an example, but yeah, the moon card is going to really allow this very unique surrender into your own, dreams, seeing through illusions. And that's really what I wanted to talk about before, but forgot. Neptune really is coming out of a dream. We're all coming out of this collective nightmare or dream. And it's going to really dissolve a lot. And I'm so glad you got the star. I'm very interested to see. And then you got creative communication, which I think is very revealing. But I think this is going to be a way of taking what was so hard to put into words and being able to see in the dark, being able to walk a path that only you can walk and guide others along, their iterations of the path. I think this is going to allow you, Gemini, to really speak that hidden language and unveil what has been, hidden in plain sight moving forward, which I think is cool.
And I would say the step before that would be, the star, because before you get to the kind of the deciding line with the moon about, is this madness or is this creativity? Is this genius or is this self-destructive? When you get to all those questions before you get there, you start off with the star, where you kind of have to check your brain. You have to check, what it is that you're actually thinking about and the way that you're thinking about things. Because in the star, of course, there's this idea about distributing resources, and watering the flowers that are all around that haven't bloomed, or to go off on the unknown path and to try and water some seeds over there because maybe something successful will happen. But the problem is, if you go off on that new path, you don't have a way of knowing for sure that the flowers didn't start to bloom as soon as you left at the original place. So a decision has to be made, and you have to think about the way that you're thinking about things, Gemini, and you have to look at how you've kind of come to certain conclusions, and to carve out the things that are just sort of getting in the way of your precious jewel and your ultimate gift, which is thinking. The way that Gemini will produce thoughts, like brand new ideas, and also have a desire to learn so much so quickly. The star is essentially this place where you have to do like a system run through and just kind of sort out what's working and what isn't.
Sweet.
All right, word wizards. We got creative communication from serious present moment. So it's all about the connection that you have between the higher mind and the lower mind. How do we connect that, and how do we disseminate information so that the masses can use that information for their benefit, right? And so it's kind of like understanding what is your drive for the communication. Just like Jack said, you got to be reflective. You got to understand why you're doing the things that you're doing, why you're saying the things that you're saying, right? But another thing about the creative communication is how it is communicated. Is it communicated online? Is it through sentences? Is it words? Or is it through your voice, right? How are you communicating? A lot of Geminis have this talent with music, right? So how is that music coming off? What type of vibe are you giving to the people who are listening in? Are you here to heal them, or are you here to have them think deeper about the world? Or what is it that you're trying to reflect, and how are you doing this? Okay. And I think that's what it comes down to is really understanding your drive and your intention behind it. Okay. So that's it.
Beautiful. Well, next we got Cancer. Jupiter's going to go through your sign coming into July to next July. So let's see what we got for you. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Progress.
Yeah, Knight of Cups.
Knight
of Cups. Cancer. Everything about Cancer right now, it feels very deserved. It feels like you earned this, earned this, you deserve a vacation. You need some literal time off or some metaphorical time off. With Cancer, so with Knight of Cups in particular, it doesn't feel like it's all centered around romance, but it feels like everything is either romance, love life, kind of like those montages they have in movies where you have all these different, scenes colliding over time as a way of expressing things. I'm seeing that for Cancer's love life and essentially, 20 different areas. And I would say that there's, of course, the other side of that, which is the coins and the pentacle and the earthy side of things, which I think is a big thing as well. I just feel like right now, this is one of those moments where whatever you're about to do, you're going to think back on it very nostalgically later, or it's almost like this is, kind of like the summary page of your story arc. This is where a lot of things come to culmination. A lot of relationships become incredibly committed, or a lot of them end in this energy for you guys. And I would say that whether or not it's, for better or worse, it's you're definitely going to be finding people that are very appealing to you. And I think Knight of Cups shows that whoever this is going to have, all the right words, but it's also partially how you're engaging in that yourself. In what way are you being a part of this connection with someone else,
Oh, I think we lost your audio.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me now? Energy transmission is very similar to a union of souls, right? An understanding of how is our energy and our feedback, creating an atmosphere or creating with someone else, right? So it wouldn't just be with a relationship, a romantic relationship. It would be with all of our relationships. For Cancer, it is important to have unity here, right? It is important to have people who have your back as well as who care as much for you as you do for them. So the energy transmission, like, what is it that you want to transmit? You want to transmit love and caring energy, and then you want to receive that back too. Okay, so that's how energy works. You send it out, but you also have to be open to receive it. Okay, and so I think that's what Cancer needs, is they need a partner and they need friendships that are gonna fill them up too, just like they always fill everybody else's cup before their own. They need the same in return, right? They need that type of energy. They need that type of relationship with their family, with their friends, with their romantic partnerships. Okay, so I think that's where you're gonna figure it out, Cancer. This year, you're gonna figure that out, and you're gonna release the things that no longer serve you, release the people that are continuously taking advantage of you, in order for you to get those people in that are finally gonna step up and help you replenish that cup.
Well said. Well said. But people don't value genuinity anymore. And that'll be interesting to see with this hardcore, Jupiter, Cancer, sincerity, Saturn, Aries, authenticity. I think it's making a comeback through you all, especially through the Cancer Nation. We got the Hermit. So I guess we see more, depth of exploring these themes within. I don't think it's as simple as you just continuing to be a homebody, but I think, in exploring more your emotions and exploring more of these connections, revisiting what you had uncovered earlier in your journey and seeing it with new eyes, seeing every way you might have slept on yourself. I think kind of mastering yourself at a core level as well, which will really reflect in your abilities. I also see this as many of you may kind of innovate and pioneer a level of hermeticism that I think will influence many moving forward. But yeah, next we got Leo. Let's see what we got for the Lions.
I got Knight of Coins and another Knight. It literally, Leo, just keep doing whatever you're doing right now. If you've started a new workout routine, if you've started saying please and thank you, whatever type of adjustment in your life that you've recently started to make, just keep doing that. Just don't stop doing that. Because whatever it is leads to somewhere incredibly promising. And I'm assuming that, especially based on some of the other readings, it's going to be very tempting to, to just crash out, essentially, just to crash out. Don't do that. Yeah, just keep doing, unless the change you've made recently is that you've started crashing out more, then I guess keep doing that. But whatever it is, just stay consistent. Knight of Coins is no joke. Whatever it says to be more consistent about, if you do that, it leads to great successes in all types of different ways.
I got protectiveness coming in from Lyra. So this is, again, I pulled this one for the winter, right? So Leo, you're going to have a long winter. Not in a bad way, Leo. It's not. Like this is you cleaning house. That's what I see is you protecting your peace, you protecting your assets, you protecting your home, you're protecting your family, you're protecting your temple, which is your body, you protecting your spirit, everything. It's like you are starting now. Like you're just like, let's get this done. Let's get these people out. Let's get these spirits out. Let's get it going, because we're not playing this year, Leo. You're not playing with anybody. somebody comes up to you and starts to try to cause drama with you, you're not gonna give in anymore. You're gonna be like, nope, bye, you know, and like shut the door on them, you know, whatever you got to do. You're not playing these games anymore. So which is great. I think this is a great, you will see more Leo energy coming into the forefront and just being very direct. If you guys have Leos in your family, just be ready for that, you know, like be ready for that. About the boundary, like, is set. Like, here's a boundary. You're not gonna like push it anymore, you know. So just be ready, okay?
You have been warned. You have been warned accordingly. Leo, what do we got for you? We got, and shout out to Lady Rainstar, we got the Knight of Wands. So I think, yeah, if you were crashing out, you just got to keep crashing out. I think it's definitely going to be the return of passion that accompanies this consistency of what you're moving forward with. I think it aligns with what Ari was saying as well, bringing that thunder, bringing that shift and change of environment, moving, going on road trips. I'm picking up lots of restlessness, especially because Jupiter is going to be behind your sun or rising, and it's going to be like overcoming that restlessness and replacing it with the vision I get is like people might have looked at you as creative, but you're like, oh, please, this is nothing compared to what I usually am. And you're going to gain all that creative inspiration back and perhaps fight a lot of people. But yeah, I think you live for the fighting and the warrioring stuff. We'll see. Next, we have Virgo.
Well, Virgo is Queen of Swords.
I want to start this one. This is
mine. No, I'm just kidding. There was nothing there. Yeah, go on.
This is mine because I'm in my Virgo era.
Good.
Seeing the one, okay, and this is you in connection to the higher realms, the higher power. Feeling like you're finally aligned, feeling like everything is as it should have been a long time ago. It's kind of like the same thing where you cleaned house. You went on hermit mode for a very long time, but now what are you applying? Now you're ready to get out of the hermitage and apply the knowledge and wisdom that you've gained from self-reflection. And how do we teach that to those who are willing to learn, right? So I think this is the biggest one, is like you are being guided, you know, I would say from the highest of the high, you know, from creator himself or herself, that it is time to step into your full power, your authority, your teacher path, and get it done. Okay, so that's what Virgo is definitely going to be feeling this year, is like getting the concept of spiritual self and actualization and getting it done.
Beautiful.
And I was going to say every single word she just said, but I was also going to say that the Queen of Swords is what you guys have. So I would say the biggest thing right now will be it's essentially just demanding. Like basically, if you know something is just and you are in some position to negotiate or argue for it, now's the time to make whatever statement it is that needs to be said, because essentially this is kind of, you know, the Six of Swords, of course, comes before the Seven of Swords, before, you know, like a theft of intellectual property or something physical, or maybe just an idea. The Queen of Swords is this point where you know exactly how to deal with these different types of situations. You know exactly how to speak to express what it is that you need and what it is that you want from a situation, what it is you bring to it. And there's sort of this pointing up to the crown. To me, it basically represents this is a situation where you can take your rightful place or where it will be taken. Like there essentially can't be any passive energy right now. You essentially have to do something, or you have to just let someone else do that. In deciding what it is that you're willing to speak out for or fight for right now.
Which I think ties into this underlying theme, Seven of Wands, of like standing your ground and not backing down. The card we have for you is the Strength card. So yeah, this is definitely another Leo theme. I think I think I've seen Virgo especially not shy away from conflict, but kind of give people the benefit of the doubt, being kindness, still criticizing people. But you can always tell when that Virgo could have like murdered somebody, but they kind of spared them. I don't see you sparing people this year. I see you really tapping into your strength, not in like a very angry way either. I think you're revisiting this understanding that you're stronger than you could ever realize. You're redefining your relationship with your creative talents and your creativity itself. You're mastering lust. I think this is the potential to be a very fun period and year for you. All right. Next, we have Libra. All right. Let's see what we got. Let's see.
And if everyone who's been voting for me could keep voting, because we can make this gap stronger. It's a 51-49, and it keeps bouncing. Just remember, I don't want Mariah Carey to be played during Christmas time. Ari wants that, and constant. She wants it legislated. She wants it in the Constitution. Yeah. Remember that when you vote. For Libra, oh God, does this have to be? Okay, so spoiler, I'm a Libra, so this applies to me. Knight of Swords.
Hey,
okay.
Hey.
You know what? Okay, so another knight. This is great. Follows the theme. What we have to do, Libras, is just because we want something right now, and we really, really, really want that right now, doesn't mean that we should destroy everything to make it happen, and that we shouldn't disrupt our own plans, and that we've got to stick with the responsible path right now. And at the same time, you're looking at the cliffside and you're like, but I think I could make this jump, but you can't. You can't make this jump, and you essentially just have to go with the natural timing and the natural flow. And you can't disrupt that no matter how much you want to. And you do. You definitely do. Beautiful. That's what I have for Libras.
Definitely listen to that advice, Jax. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
Yeah.
All right, so we got new paradigm. That's a shift in reality, shift in mindset for Libras, okay? And this is coming from Andromeda, and this is the galaxy, not the actual constellation or whatever that's kind of close to us. So looking at this in particular is about planning ahead, okay? So I know a lot of Libras get bored with plans. They have to just, like the Knight of Swords, they just want to do it, right? So that's one thing with the paradigm shift, is about the mindset shift. Okay, like what is it that your goal is, and how do we get to that goal? What steps do we have to take in order for us to get there? And if the first time that you tried, you didn't, get the outcome that you wanted, let's shift our mindset and try to go a different route, right? So I think that's important for Libra, to just challenge yourself in order for you to really, really see what, like, the goal is it even worth it as well, So if it's a relationship, for a lot of Libras, it's probably going to be that a relationship with someone. Don't make it seem like it's a challenge because they're like leading you on or playing hard to get. No, that's not a challenge. That's just something that a lot of people do. Take it more of like challenging yourself internally, like really exploring yourself and how you want your partner to actually come through for you, right? Because sometimes that's what we fall into, that Libra mindset of like this whirlwind romance and this perfect partner that this guy or this girl is paying attention to me and I'm bored sometimes, or is it really worth the trouble, right? To getting to know the person. It's kind of like making sure you're shifting that perspective into like, is this going to be a long-term thing? Can I really, I would even say, invest my time and effort and money into this person? Are they going to be worth the wait and worth the while? of everything, right? So that's what this paradigm is like, changing your mindset on romance too, and partnerships and things like that too. So it's kind of like having more of a Capricorn perspective on this. I know that's kind of challenging, but really, really needing that, because you need a solid foundation to start a relationship, right? You can't just start a relationship with somebody who's already taken, or you can't start a relationship with someone who is kind of like just recently broke up with somebody, or you can't start a relationship with when you're in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely shifting the things that we do as Libras, right? That's what it is. It's like shifting Libra. There is definitely a better partner out there for you. Okay. Don't have to settle. Okay.
Now, you actually can start a relationship.
No. Immediately. Yeah. I'll let Gemini say it. Because yeah, you guys can take the heat for this one.
You can't let somebody get with your soulmate. So you just gotta
That's exactly what that Libra, that's my soulmate.
Yeah.
Like, I need to bring my soulmate back to me, like.
Oh God. Someone said my wife is a Scorpio. So we got the Hermit for you too, Libra. So it looks like Virgo and Libra are just going within, but the Four of Wands is the underlying theme versus Seven of Wands. So I think it's just like privatizing festivities. I don't think you might be in a rush. You mean Knight of Swords could indicate a rush, but I don't think there's a need to like broadcast everything that's occurring. And once again, just a very powerful mastery of internalizing interpersonal relationship dynamics. And once again, I also want to say this pioneering of Hermeticism. But whereas I think Virgo's going to kind of, or was it Kate? Yeah, where I think Virgo's going to really shift the perspective around it. We're going to see Libras like taking action and performing it and kind of demonstrating how, taking it away from just this idea to, okay, this is what it looks like. This is actually like how it can work. All right, Scorpio. Let's see.
Yeah, so for Scorpio, sorry, Ari. Yeah, you weren't there in time. For Scorpio, I've got Four of Cups, which is the same opener we had for the season. So I got Four of Cups again. This one is basically telling Scorpios, keep your eyes very vigilant this spring, because there are some big decade level changes that you're going to set into motion one way or the other. And to essentially look around you and make a decision about what's really important to you and what you want to cherish for the rest of your life, or at least that's the feeling of it. But it's basically saying, just understand that some people are going to present offers which don't actually exist, and to be really aware of that.
Deep.
Oh, it's my turn now?
You get to go second, Nick. Just like the poll.
Yo!
Oh!
Well, you're winning right now, but it'll change.
All right. True compassion for Scorpio, Orion light. So this is coming from the Orion constellation, understanding of differences of opinions, right? Understanding that not everyone sees the way that you see the world, and understanding how do we address this in a more loving and compassionate way, right? Or even if somebody does bring you drama, how do we react to it in a different manner, instead of like the impulsive need to, tell them like what's what, right? Like, excuse me. And you could always check someone in a nice way, like you could definitely do that. You could definitely redirect them. Like, just say, at this time you are your voice and your tone not very conducive to me and what I think should be appropriate, and so, or even checking them by saying like, I understand that you're elevated at this time, but I am not going to talk to you unless you calm down, things like that. And so making sure that we are reflective or making sure that we are the one that takes the higher road, right? As Scorpios, you know, I think that's kind of hard for a lot of Scorpios, especially in the career paths that you guys choose. Usually it's very much in the health industry. And you will run into people who are in duress, right? How do we calm those people in duress? And then also, how do we calm the people that we love who might be in duress, right?
Right.
And what do we say to them in order for them to feel like they are cared for and that you do care what they have to say, even if they're saying curse words or or they're elevated, you know, just how do we calm people down so that we have better communication, you know? And I think that's going to be hard for you at this time, Scorpio, but you have to try to do it. You have to try to do it because you want to be heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to be understood. You want that same compassion towards you. So how do we do this? Okay. So that's a lot of reflecting. There's a lot of practice that needs to happen. Okay.
I'm not going to lie. The first thing I felt when you pulled True Compassion was people forgiving Diddy. Be like, hey, we have compassion.
That's too much forgiveness. That is too much. Unacceptable.
It would be a Gemini though, like to be like, come on, guys.
And I'd be like, Gemini, stop.
That's literally what Ye is doing with Diddy. Ye went from he's a Fed to free Puffy, and people are like, Ye, read the room, but that's kind of hilarious. But yeah, I mean, that would be. I mean, I felt of it like if you want true compassion, Scorpio, then you need to give true compassion yourself, and that would be very interesting. Only one can forgive him is Ye, which is hilarious. Ye's great. Okay, but. Yeah, shout out to Ye. But yeah, I thought that would be very interesting if people just double back and be like, you know what, Joe Biden, we kind of did like you, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
You know what, Joe Biden, it wasn't weird that you showered with your daughter until she was like 16. I don't know.
That would be bad.
That would be very bad. But hey, compassion is compassion, right? So what we got for Scorpio is the Temperance. Okay, Sagittarius. So temperance is definitely speaking of moderation, which I think is very key because Scorpio is the purist, the extremist, right? So, you know, it's the Tauruses, it's the Scorpios that are all black and white, like, oh, it's got to be this. You're on this side, you're on that side. And mutable signs, we piss them off because we let them know, no, bitch, like there's a middle ground. Like, it's not always black and white or everywhere. Yeah, so it's just...
Yo, really, for real. Every Scorpio always says, who do they not like out of all the Zodiac signs?
Oh my God. Hey, that's because we have an ancient beef. That's all. Yeah. It is what it is. We spank them every now. I mean, sorry. We kind of we get into spats. Shout out to the cool Scorpios. Not everything, you know, we have horrible Scorpios, we have horrible Geminis. But yeah, this I think is going to bring greater peace. It's going to bring especially for the Scorpios that are just like enraptured in drama. It's going to really reflect in your behavior, practicing more alchemy. That's the key. Everything you do in moderation. Good management is going to really be the saving grace here. And yeah, I believe so. Just like the Scorpio moon, Gemini sun as well. But yeah, something to really look forward to. I see this as balancing your day-to-day more and coming into more peace. This is good tension. So next we have Sagittarius.
We do. We really do. And one of the things Ari knew this time. Ari, I didn't even prepare what I was going to say because I was so focused on Ari and I, whoever would pull it first. So I got the moon, and whatever Ari's about to say, this is so relevant to that. Basically, right now, though, on a serious note, the moon is a big deal for Sagittarius right now. It's happening in your solar fifth. And so it is telling you to essentially lean into creativity right now, lean into essentially every type of expression or anything that multiplies, and to stay away from anything that divides, and also to just be very aware of yourself right now, because it feels like in a lot of ways your strongest, most positive tendencies are being increased, but also some of your most dangerous tendencies are being increased. So everything is being kind of clicked up with fire and water at the same time. So it's just like, it's, a time for steam.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, so I got imbalance and positive polarity from Pleiades. So this is kind of like reflection, because this is in the past position. So to me, it's about the balance of dualism, right? The light and the dark within us all. And yes, you are the optimist. Yes, you are the one that's able to see the sunny side of things and also reflect on your actions and how to address that. But it's more about making sure that we balance it completely. Like, we don't ignore the people who had who contributed to our suffering, right? So we tend to be like, oh, I'll get over it. Oh, I'm over it, like within like a minuscule of a second. So it's not about that. It's about making sure that we address the freaking problem, okay? And we are also voicing our opinion on that, like, okay, how do we move forward from this as a relationship? Do we want to keep this relationship with this person? Do we want to really continue on this path, or are we still feeling the wound of disrespect, right? So I think it's important for Sagittarius to, yes, you don't shy away from an argument, you don't shy away from any of that, but you're so quick to forgive, right? It's because you want, whatever, my focus is somewhere else now, right? So it's important for you to balance that. It's understanding that there is darkness with other people, okay? There is dualism there that does exist, okay? And so how do we address the shadow? How do we address the darkness within ourselves as well as within others? Because remember, when we are confronted with someone's shadow, that means that our shadow is reflective in them. Okay, we're mirroring each other, and we need to address that ASAP. Okay, so that's all I have.
Beautiful. I got the Four of Wands. So yeah, this is literally Ari getting married recently. This is the strengthening of community. I think that's a major theme of like the rest of the year, and just kind of building on that strengthened sanctuary type home. You're turning your home into a sanctuary. People are going to come to your place to kind of chill out, to gain inspiration. This is strengthening your connection with your community, and it's serendipitous. So I think there's a lot of more, positive news ahead for you guys. This is a really great year to celebrate and whatnot. So yeah, congrats, Sad. That's beautiful. Next, we have Capricorn.
Oh, do we?
Yes, we do.
Because, yeah, I also got Four of Wands for Capricorn. At this point, winning, because the poll is not doing great. Ari's at 52%, and Capricorns are tuned into this as well. They care about who wins this also.
It's because of what you said about Mariah, bro.
If everyone, and I just want your audience to know this, if everyone who has clicked Ari instead clicks Jax, it will change your vote. No, but hear me out. It will change your vote to me.
Yeah.
So for the Four of Wands for Capricorns, what we're going to be looking at is, I would say also a time to celebrate, but it's really a time to regain foundations. This is, in a lot of ways, the next few years with Saturn Aries for Capricorn, I feel like it's good. Things are going to feel as though you are able to have control of what's yours again, and that there's been a whole lot of teamwork pushed on you from a lot of different angles in a lot of different situations. And there are some things that you get to do just on your own now, or you at least have the deciding factor. So to me, it's about structure, but then there's also an element of, just like, the familial and friendship safety of of reconnecting with people that made you your best self. And there's a lot of that happening right now for Capricorn.
I love that.
Capricorn, I have a better message for you. This is
birth. Don't you ever say this.
This is birth and expansion coming in from Lyra. So this is pretty much focused on what is it that you're trying to create this year for yourself. What is it that you're trying to challenge yourself with, right? Another thing with this card actually relates to creating a life with someone else. Like, if you are with somebody right now or in a relationship, where's that headed? Okay, what's the end goal here, right? Are you thinking family? Are you thinking investments? Bank accounts, things like that, money making together or whatnot. What is it that you're trying to create? I feel like there's a business venture big time here for Capricorn. There's an opportunity that's coming in for you guys that it's going to help you with collaboration with other people, not just in a romantic partnership, but with, people who have the same drive as you guys. Okay. So that's where we're thinking, we're birthing in the energy. We have the divine feminine energy coming in for creation purposes, and then expanding on that with creating your own business, creating something that is going to give you an opportunity to be your own boss, right? Or even collaborating with others. So that's a big thing here for Capricorn. It's like you're going to invest and you're going to have your money's worth this year for sure. Okay.
And the underlying theme I got is the Empress too, which I think correlates with the winter you got with the Empress. But yeah, we got the 9 of Pentacles, Cap. So what are you if not filthy rich and just super wealthy? And I think this is an echo of what we got for Taurus, because Taurus got the 8 of Pentacles, Virgo got the Hermit, and Capricorn has the 9 of Pentacles. So Taurus and Cap are getting money. You know what I mean? Virgo, I think, is more privatizing the way that they make their money, and it's just going to be more independent. But Capricorn, this is just so much luxury and self-employed independent wealth that, comes from you just focusing. The 9 of Pentacles may be by themselves at some points, but that's because they would rather be by themselves than with bums. And you know what I mean? So I think that's really reassuring. I think this is going to be a very abundant winter, especially if not the whole year. But next we have Aquarius. Oh,
I have a message for Aquarius.
Yeah.
Jax. Just kidding.
I let you in.
Yeah.
All right, so good intentions for the humanitarian, okay? Aquarius is a humanitarian of all the signs. They are the ones that look out for other people. They are the ones that organize. They are the ones that get people together to build together, right? But also understanding where is this coming from, the need to express as well as socialize, the need to build with others, right? Making sure that your good intentions are good intentions and they're not being manifested or manipulated by other people's needs, wants, and or selfishness. Okay, so I think it's important to reflect on that and also not give up on your dreams just because someone else tried to ruin it, right? Don't just give up so easily. Aquarius tends to brood a little bit about the past, especially with past relationships, as well as like not necessarily romantic relationships, but more like friendships, like confidants, people that have done something to manipulate them, things like that. But it's also important for you guys to address that. Like if you see that red flag in a person, call it out. Okay, like it's okay to be upfront and direct, and also making sure that when you are building something together, like you're working towards a goal with other people, make sure you guys are on the same page, right? Because it could be that other people might not want to do what you think you should do. It might be that other people haven't invested as much time and effort and money into that dream building, right? I always see Aquarius as trying to get others to collaborate, which is a beautiful thing, but also making sure that there are other people who are not at that level of collaboration yet. Okay, make sure that we weed those people out, Aquarius. Okay, I know that you want to give everybody a fair chance and opportunity, but good intentions can be taken advantage of. All right.
Beautiful. Shout out David Rosher. Haven't seen you in a minute. So we have the 10 of Cups. I knew we were going to get something aligned with Sag. You know, I feel like this is you and Zach. 10 of Cups is quite literally living happily ever after. Damn, Sag, Cap, and Aqua. We got some pretty good cards for you. This is definitely speaking about not just embodying for the risings or feeling with the moon. This is emotional fulfillment. This would actually presuppose there has been a buildup of feelings, and you are quite literally climaxing, arriving. You are coming to this conclusion, and it's putting you in a position. You heard that? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, the is a notification. But yeah, it's putting you in a position to not only reach this peak. I think this is going to reflect in your friendships, relationships. For those of you wanting, you know, word of relationships being well, I think this is, some of you are going to either be already in or develop the best relationships you've ever had, romantically and platonically. Damn, this is pretty awesome. Congratulations. Last but not least, we got Pisces.
Oh, well, I haven't done Aquarius yet. Yeah, I haven't done that.
Oh, you haven't done Aquarius?
No, I thought you were continuing her bit, because the reason you did yours after hers was probably because whenever she goes, you go next. But yeah, so she beat me to it this time. But the thing is, I let her win. I had this card just stocked and ready.
First of all,
and I was like, I learned a valuable lesson today
so it's okay.
from the Knight of Swords for my collective. I learned the lesson that, winning isn't everything. And even if Ari wants to win everything always, I don't have to do that. I don't have to get to that level. I can let her win. And so I want everyone to keep that in mind when they're voting in the polls, is that she wants to win. Do you want her to win even though she wants that? Yeah. And I think the answer is no. And I think it's increased here with the 10 of Wands for Aquarians, because Aquarius is, you know who to vote for. But on a more serious note, with 10 of Wands for Aquariuses, this year is a tall staircase, and all of the stairs are incredibly steep. So you can go extremely large distances for 2025. You can wind up in some incredible places, but it feels like it's important for you to know that, kind of like Ari was saying, with making sure you have the right teammates, but also just being very clear and intentional with whatever it is that you want to do. And understanding that there is always a price tag for different types of victory and for different types of achievements, and to be very aware of what those are going to be as you go up the incredibly steep staircase.
Beautiful. 10 of Wands.
And then Pisces.
No, I knew it. Which I'm fine with. I don't care.
Let's have Mike do one.
Wait, why did you get more votes? Why did you get more votes for you after I did my speech? I thought everyone
first, because you haven't done it, so.
You got the 2 of Cups. Okay, so I know Aquarius is coming into more fulfillment. Pisces, it looks like you're kicking off and debuting. It doesn't have to be brand new, but this could be new mutual love. 2 of Cups is saying mutual love and trust. In a romantic sense, it's someone who loves you like they love you back. Not in the case with the other lady yesterday who said that I told her to come to where I'm at, which kind of was one-sided, but I guess spiritually we were connected. This is spiritually and physically and in all levels, right? You're both clear. It's not some one-sided fantasy. We're going to see this platonically, though, as well. Just the overall greater trust, right? That will bring so much closeness. You know what I'm saying? And I think in the sense of a romantic union, this is going to really mark these partnerships. In a non-romantic sense, this could be a business connection that's just very committed and very connected. So, pretty awesome.
Ladies first,
Oh,
as I've always said.
oh.
No, okay. I see what you did there. No, it would be you. You were really convincing. It almost had me for a second. It's your go.
Yeah.
All right, since you insist, so.
Mm-hmm.
So for Pisces, I got spiritual sovereignty, and this is coming from parallel energy, parallel universes and stuff like that. I think it's about like, because of course, you know, Pisces are the dreamers. They're the ones that can see beyond the veil, like fairly easily, I would say. But also addressing what you're seeing, right? Is it factual to your needs, or is it factual to the ego, right? So it's kind of like separating the ego a little bit and letting the spirit just ring free, but also making sure that you don't move too further into the spirit realm because you're trying to escape from something. Okay, making sure that the spiritual sovereignty is still a need for expansion and also evolution, but not to the point that you leave the earth behind. Okay, so it's kind of like making sure you're balanced in that, using your Virgo counter to address and question what you're seeing, right? The messages that you're receiving. Yes, it is important to do that, to filter them as well. Okay.
Beautiful.
And speaking of your Virgo counterpart, 10 of coins, Mercury Virgo. I would say for Pisces right now, above all else, I think things are generally auspicious. There's definitely a lot of things that are now being passed on to other signs and other generations. In fact, you have kind of several things happening all within a very short time. There's like a large cluster of events. I would say above all else, though, your greatest strength is going to be focused in on the mechanical right now, whether it be business, career, life path. That's going to be where you have a lot of strength. You also, I feel like the timing is going to work out for a lot. So meeting up with someone from college, grabbing a drink with someone that's a coworker of yours, a lot of different things that aren't always on the schedule or aren't always possible are suddenly going to be very possible right now, especially anything that propagates more of something. So anything where there's growth, where there's propagation, where essentially you're creating something new or putting something out into the universe that's actually physical, it's going to be incredibly beneficial for you.
All right, y'all. Well, as we end this poll right now.
Well, hold on. We have a special thing we love to... Oh, man.
Oh, no. I wish I heard that.
I was going to say it's a special thing where we take 1 minute and anyone can change their votes if they want to. I don't think they were going to do it. I think they're pro Ari for some reason.
Oh, okay. 51-48. It was tied. So, Ari, you have won.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. I'm going to think about this every day for the rest of my life.
You know, it's funny because Jack has been picking on me, you guys. He's been picking on me all week almost. So I was doing these posters, trying to get this anime stuff going for the live or whatever, and he got offended that I had.
Oh, I didn't get offended.
Mr.
Don't
Mike
say the
taller than all of us.
Oh, yeah.
In the poster, he's like.
There was one that was a little bit different. There's one of these things is not like the others. All the other ones had us grouped pretty close. And there was one of them, Michael was like 18 feet tall, and that's not normal.
Remember, there's something called depth perception where
no, there's not.
Closer.
There's not. There's no such thing called depth perception. So.
All right, cool. All right, so okay, go ahead, Mike.
Well, yeah, we can stop gaslighting ourselves.
Yeah, this election was stolen for sure.
Yeah.
I won this for sure.
I'm done. Okay, so yeah, I guess we can do the bonus part. We could definitely do that for you, and then after that, we can do the live reading. Yeah. Jax, would you still have a bonus card for us.
You get the victory. You're doing the bonus card. Yeah. 100%. This is on you now. I hope you like the crown and all that comes with it.
Yo, that's funny. We lost your audio real quick.
I said, yes, I do. It looks really good on me, damn it.
There we go.
All right. Let's get a bonus card. And if I get multiple, that's okay as well, because I am getting multiple.
Queen of Wands.
Ooh, okay. So I got 3. They're stuck together. So number 15 coming in from Lyra is courageousness. So kind of being for this year, for everyone who's watching right now, it's like have the courage to be yourself. Have the courage to set boundaries, to really address your needs. Okay. Some of us have a tendency of like putting other people first, but it's important for us this year to put ourselves first. Okay. Self-care is prime this year. Also understanding what it is that we want to build. You know, how do we want to build it? Like, what is it that you want for your future? Okay. Are you sick of working the same job? Then make a change. Have the courage to make a change. Have the courage to have a leap of faith and trust yourself and trust that you are making the right choice for yourself. Okay. And then the next one is long-term goals, which segue into this. What is it that you're trying to get to? Are you trying to have wealth? Are you trying to have a family? Can you have both? Yes, you can. You can have everything and anything that you put your mind to. I think that's important that as humans, we try to think that we can only do one thing at a time when it's not true. We could do multiple things at a time. It's just making sure that we don't get overwhelmed, okay? That we are able to do things for ourselves, balancing that as well as balancing family, balancing career, things like that, okay? Then rejecting emotion is the last one, and this is about the past. Like, how did you reject your own feelings, right? How did you reject your own feelings when it came to friendships, when it came to relationships? How did you suppress them? How did you not say what you wanted to say? And this year, it is time for speaking up and speaking out and showing out too. It is time for people to really address you for who you really are. As a spiritual sovereign, you are kings and queens in this world. You have to feel that internally because that's the truth. Okay, you create your reality. That's the truth. It is important for you to do that and also reflect on how you were suppressed. What made you think it was okay for you to hide who you really are, or to not say that come back, right? Or to not offend other people? What were you afraid of? Okay, let's address that and heal that as well. Okay, so that's it.
Beautiful. Well, we do have a live reading request from Brandon Walton. He says, and shout out to Sophia, the Aquarian Queen. He says, greetings, this is Brandon. Tarot card pulls, please. Whatever spirit of the universe wants me to know. Sweet. Oh. Well, Brandon, I guess I will start off. Oh, okay. Avon. It's been a while. We have the King of Pentacles, brother. So you're definitely in position. King of Wands as well. I see you. This is you stepping into the mastery of your maturity, the maturity of your finances. You know what I mean? But just making a lot more mature business decisions, stepping into a much more powerful place of wealth that I think might be not just new, but setting precedents moving forward. And I think that's going to be very powerful for you. I think it represents the general embettering of your money and your wealth. Okay.
In whatever situation that you're considering not taking on, or whatever situation you're questioning your worthiness for, like whether it be a new job or whether it be some new big opportunity of some kind, whatever it is, you are worthy to do that. You are more prepared for it than you think. And sometimes there just isn't actually a guideline yet that maps everything out, and they need someone else to kind of like figure it out first. So with Page of Wands, it basically says don't shrink back to any big challenges or opportunities right now, and to be a part of them.
He just said that he just got a promotion at
Yeah.
work. So
Well,
that's
good.
awesome.
Avon.
Because that
Yeah.
actually
Okay. Yeah.
coincides with this balance, making sure that promotion doesn't overwhelm you, you know, because when you think about promotions, that means that you're doing a great job. You're taking on responsibilities that you have beyond what your real workload is, but understanding that don't let other people take advantage of that either, right? Don't let other people take advantage of your hard work either, and make sure that you're balancing that, you know, where you're balancing work with play, okay? Understanding that you need your time off. You need to take those vacation days. You need to plan for that time to get away and be yourself too, okay? And another thing about Octarus energy is healing energy, okay? It could be that you are going to feel some energies in certain ways for certain people at work, maybe jealousy, maybe feelings of you being seen at a different manner because of this promotion. It could also be that you might feel overwhelmed with the task, right, at hand, that, oh man, I got a promotion. I haven't been here for too long. And so maybe people are going to look at me sideways or things like that. F them. Okay, you deserve it. You deserve that promotion. You deserve everything that you worked hard for. And then also, as the Arcturian energy of healing, making sure that you practice that healing energy, like making sure that we create the environment and atmosphere that we want to walk into wherever we go, right? So Arcturian energy will help you with the projection of an energy field around you and in locations that you walk into, so that you are protected and you are safe from those policies or those energies that might try to persuade you or try to make you feel like you are undeserving of what your you know, things that you're getting are coming in. Okay.
Beautiful. Well, that seems to be what we got for today. This is really fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I might have to. We might have to keep the poll up every time we come up.
Yeah, we do. Well, because the first one's a fluke. The first one's like, okay, they chose Ari, which. Okay, like, you know, like I don't get it, but okay. Like the second time though, I think that they'll have experienced all of this, and I think they'll say, I think it's pretty clear we need to hand the next next election to him. And then I would like 2 terms. You know, I want 2 separate videos where and maybe even a third one. I might go for a third one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. This was a fun Sunday. This video will be available publicly as well. Most importantly, I do have both of your websites down below. Jax, I know you have the Thrice Divine series, I think, still available.
So that one's no longer available, but I am going to announce soon when I'm putting out the next one, because I'm doing a whole special this spring and summer for that.
Sweet. And
hurry up, Jax. Like, what are you waiting for?
Well, I'm a Knight of Swords man now, so I just patiently look at all the roots and consider things, and, you know, not trying to make a June project into an April one.
True.
Because I'm trying. It's really hard because I'm feeling real impatient right now.
Is it? Are there anything both of you would like to share as far as what people can get on your website or how people can reach you?
I would just say, don't look for me. Don't try and find me. No, I'm just joking. JaxAtlantis.com, and then JaxAtlantis on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere. And Yeah, I don't have any big new classes out right now, but soon I'm going to have all of them out. And I do have a sale going on right now till April 4th for mentorships and personal astrology service, things like that.
I highly recommend Mr. Jax for mentorships. He's very calm and not mean.
I'm not normally mean. Yeah.
He's not normally this sassy, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's fair. That's a fair. I've been increasing my sass levels tremendously. Yeah.
Going into that progress stage, so I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm training. I'm practicing.
So it's gonna trine the Neptune. I didn't even think about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ari, you still what's up on your site?
So I'm still doing galactic heritage readings. So this is kind of an exploration of like past lives within the galaxy and even in Andromeda Galaxy. I'm also doing kind of like more like spiritual tools. So like kind of like jewelry, like things like this, and also malas, things like that. And also just making them more catered to the person that orders it. Instead of just generic. It's always good to have unique energy when you're working with spiritual tools such as these, because you're making it for that person and whatever it is that their energy needs at that time, as well as in the future. So yeah, that's what I do.
Beautiful. Any final reflections before we leave?
Yeah, I'm gonna have the first final reflection. 5 of coins. So everybody, just be very crystal clear about this. Now is the time to break any bad cycles. This is not the time to make them stronger or reinvest in them or play them out in just bigger ways. This is a time to break all cycles, especially any that involve lack mindset or that involve limiting yourself or where you're over engaging in pride. Like, just above all else, don't limit yourself or insist that the worst parts of the past need to sort of reemerge just because some of the best parts of the past are doing so.
So don't be broke and don't be dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't be either.
Don't be either. Let's get it.
Yeah, Jax.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, this was awesome. You guys stay blessed as always.
Be safe, make good choices.
Yeah, I'll personally catch you guys next week for the tarot readings. And Ari, Jax, thank you once again. We hope you all have a blessed week ahead as well.
Absolutely. See you guys.